Did you know lots of drivers have zero clue that these car features are slowly destroying their car engine? Here's the shocking part. One of these features could leave you with a repair bill that costs thousands of dollars. Let's start now with feature number 17, backup cameras. You reverse out of your driveway on a perfectly normal morning, and your backup camera display goes completely black. No warning, no error message, just nothing. Most drivers assume it's a minor glitch and ignore it. Backup cameras are one of the most failure-prone features on modern vehicles. The lens sits directly behind the car, exposed to road grime, moisture, extreme heat, and constant vibration every single day. When the heating element inside the camera housing fails, the image distorts or disappears entirely. Here's the kicker. A backup camera replacement on most vehicles runs anywhere from $200 to over $800, depending on whether the camera is integrated into the handle, the bumper, or the badge. Now, this next feature sounds incredibly convenient until it stops working in the middle of a rainstorm. Feature number 16, rain sensing wipers. Imagine this, you're driving on a wet highway, rain is picking up fast, and your wipers are either doing absolutely nothing or running at full speed on a dry windshield. But here's what they don't tell you. Rain-sensing wiper systems use an optical sensor mounted inside the windshield that reads how much light is being scattered by water droplets on the glass. When that sensor fails, gets dirty, or loses calibration after a windshield replacement, the entire system becomes completely unpredictable. Here's the kicker. A new windshield means the rain sensor needs to be recalibrated or replaced entirely, adding anywhere from $150 to $400 on top of the glass replacement cost. Here's what they don't tell you. Most independent glass shops either skip this step or do it incorrectly, leaving you with wipers that activate randomly or refuse to work at the speed the rain actually requires. Now, this next feature is one that luxury car buyers specifically pay a premium for, and it is quietly causing headaches that nobody warned them about. Feature number 15, push button start. You walk up to your car, press the brake, hit the start button, and nothing happens. No crank, no warning light, just silence. But here's what they don't tell you. Push-button start systems are significantly more complex than a traditional ignition switch, and that complexity comes at a cost. The system relies on the key fob communicating with multiple antennas embedded around the vehicle, a start button that interfaces with the body control module, and a brake pedal sensor that confirms the pedal is depressed before allowing ignition. If any one of those components fails, the car simply will not start. Here's the kicker. Relay attacks on keyless start vehicles have become one of the most common forms of car theft in the world. Criminals use signal amplifiers that boost the range of your key fob from inside your house and drive away in under 60 seconds without touching a single physical key. Here's what they don't tell you. A push-button start module failure at a dealership can run anywhere from $500 to over $1,200 in parts and labor. Now, this next button is one that almost every driver uses in winter without knowing the repair bill it could eventually hand them. Feature number 14, rear defroster button. Picture this. It's a freezing morning. Your rear windshield is completely iced over, and you press the rear defroster button. Nothing happens. No glow, no heat, just zero visibility behind you. But here's what they don't tell you. The rear defroster system is made up of dozens of thin conductive lines printed directly onto the glass. Every single time that glass flexes from temperature changes or road vibration, those lines are under stress. Over time, they crack, and when they crack, entire sections of the grid stop working. Here's the kicker. If multiple lines are damaged, a full rear windshield replacement becomes the only option, which on some vehicles runs from $400 to over $1,000. Here's what they don't tell you. The defroster relay is also an independent failure point that mechanics frequently misdiagnose, leading to unnecessary glass replacements when the actual fix was a $20 part. Now, this next feature is one that makes access to your car feel effortless right up until it completely fails you. Feature number 13, keyless entry. You walk up to your car, grab the handle, and the door doesn't unlock. You try the key fob button, nothing, and you're standing in a parking lot with no idea how to get into your own vehicle. But here's what they don't tell you. Keyless entry systems are always on, always scanning, and always drawing power from your battery and your key fob simultaneously. Over time, the antennas embedded in the door handles degrade, and the fob itself wears out faster than a traditional remote because it never fully powers down. Here's the kicker. Keyless entry systems are specifically targeted by relay theft devices that can clone your fob signal from outside your home and unlock your car without any sign of forced entry, meaning your insurance claim becomes significantly more complicated. Here's what they don't tell you. A door handle antenna replacement costs anywhere from $300 to $700 per door because the antenna is integrated into the handle assembly itself, not a separate serviceable component. Before we get to the really shocking features, do me a favor and hit that like button. We did a ton of research for this, and it actually helps us keep making content like this. Thank you. Feature number 12, electronic parking brake. You're parked on a slope, you press the electronic parking brake button to release, and the car rolls. No resistance, no click, no physical confirmation that anything actually engaged. But here's what they don't tell you. Traditional handbrakes use a simple mechanical cable system that any competent mechanic can inspect and repair in under an hour using basic tools. Electronic parking brakes replace that cable with an electric motor integrated directly into each rear brake caliper. When that motor fails, the caliper can seize in the applied position, locking the rear wheels entirely, or fail to apply at all, leaving the car free to roll on any incline. Here's the kicker. A seized electronic parking brake caliper cannot be manually wound back without a specific electronic release tool, which independent shops frequently do not own. Here's what they don't tell you. Rear caliper replacement runs anywhere from $400 to over $1,000 per side because you are replacing the motor, the caliper, and recalibrating the system simultaneously. Now, this next feature adds serious convenience to your daily routine and adds serious repair costs every time something goes wrong. Feature number 11, power liftgates. You walk to the back of your car with your hands completely full, wave your foot under the bumper, and nothing happens. You end up putting everything back down and waiting 15 seconds while the gate slowly creeps open. But here's what they don't tell you. Power liftgate systems are made up of electric struts, a motor, a latch assembly, sensors, and a control module, all mounted in an area directly exposed to weather, road vibration, and constant mechanical stress. The electric struts are the first to fail, and when they weaken, the gate either drops unexpectedly on whoever is standing beneath it or refuses to stay open at all. Here's the kicker. A pair of replacement power liftgate struts runs anywhere from $300 to over $600 installed, compared to under $50 for a traditional gas strut on a manually operated gate. Here's what they don't tell you. When the kick sensor starts misfiring, the gate opens randomly in parking lots and drains the battery overnight. Now, this next feature sounds like something straight out of a science fiction film, and the repair bill feels like one too. Feature number 10, adaptive headlights. You're driving on a winding country road at night, and your headlights are pointing perfectly straight ahead, while the corner you're approaching is completely in the dark. Adaptive headlights use a motor inside the headlight housing to physically pivot the beam left and right based on steering input and vehicle speed. When those motors fail due to moisture intrusion and vibration, the headlight can freeze pointing left, pointing right, or angled so severely downward that it provides almost no usable road illumination. Here's the kicker. The entire headlight assembly has to be replaced as a unit, which on a mid-range vehicle runs anywhere from $800 to over $2,000 per side. Many of these assemblies are only available from the manufacturer, meaning no aftermarket alternative exists, and the dealer controls the price completely. Now, this next feature has replaced one of the most satisfying mechanical actions in any car with something that confuses drivers and fails without warning. Feature number 9, electronic gear shifter. You're sitting in traffic, you go to shift from drive to park, and the dashboard displays a gear that doesn't match what the transmission actually engaged. Most drivers assume everything is fine and step out of the car. But here's what they don't tell you. Electronic gear shifters remove the direct mechanical connection between the shifter and the transmission entirely. Your input is now a signal sent through wires and interpreted by a module before anything actually happens in the transmission. When that module glitches, the car can display park while still in drive, or vice versa. Here's the kicker. Several major manufacturers have issued recalls specifically because drivers stepped out of vehicles displaying park that were not actually in park, resulting in the car rolling and causing serious injury. When an electronic shifter fails, getting it to the dealer frequently requires a flatbed tow because the transmission cannot be manually shifted to neutral. And here's what makes this worse. A repair that should be straightforward ends up costing you a tow bill on top of whatever the actual fix turns out to be. Now, this next feature sounds luxurious until it becomes the most expensive seat in the house. Feature number 8, auto-dimming mirrors. You're driving at night, headlights from the car behind you are flooding your rearview mirror, and instead of dimming automatically, the mirror stays fully bright the entire time. You reach for the manual tab and realize this mirror has no manual override at all. Auto-dimming mirrors use an electrochromic gel sealed between two layers of glass that darkens when voltage is applied. That gel degrades over time and eventually stops responding to the sensor input entirely, leaving the mirror permanently bright or permanently dark. Here's the kicker. Auto-dimming mirror replacement runs anywhere from $300 to over $700 because every integrated feature is part of a single non-serviceable assembly. The forward-facing ambient light sensor can be affected by aftermarket window tinting or dashboard covers, causing the mirror to behave erratically in ways that are almost impossible to diagnose. And the worst part is that most mechanics will replace the entire mirror assembly before ever thinking to check whether the sensor line of sight is simply blocked. Now, this next feature has become standard on nearly every new vehicle and is quietly failing in ways most owners never see coming. Feature number 7, heated seats. It's a cold morning, you press the heated seat button, wait 5 minutes, and the seat is still ice cold. Most drivers assume the car just needs more time to warm up, but here's what they don't tell you. Heated seats use a thin, resistive wire woven directly into the seat cushion and seatback foam. Every time someone sits down or gets up, that wire flexes. Over years of daily use, the wire develops microfractures that eventually break the circuit entirely, cutting off heat to sections of the seat or the whole thing at once. Here's the kicker. The heating element cannot be accessed without completely disassembling the seat, removing the seat cover, and pulling back the foam. Here's what they don't tell you. Many extended warranties specifically exclude seat heating elements as wear items, meaning the repair cost lands entirely on the owner, regardless of how new the vehicle is. And because the failure is gradual rather than sudden, most owners don't even realize the seat has stopped working properly until it stops working completely. Now, this next feature sounds futuristic in the showroom and feels like a daily frustration on the actual road. Feature number 6, gesture control infotainment. You're driving. You wave your hand in front of the infotainment screen to skip a track, and the system either ignores you completely or adjusts the volume when you were trying to change the source. Most drivers give up on this feature within the first week. Gesture control systems use a small infrared sensor mounted inside the cabin to track hand movements. That sensor is extraordinarily sensitive to ambient light conditions, which means bright sunlight and shadows from passing trees can trigger unintended commands while you're trying to focus on the road. Here's the kicker. Adding a feature that requires deliberate hand gestures inside the cabin while moving at highway speed is a distraction by definition, dressed up as a convenience. When the gesture sensor fails, it is embedded in the interior trim panel and requires the entire trim piece to be replaced, a repair that runs anywhere from $400 to over $1,000. What dealers will never tell you is that this feature consistently ranks as one of the least used and most complained about on owner satisfaction surveys year after year. Now, this next system gives you a view of every angle around your car, right up until it can't see anything at all. Feature number 5, 360-degree cameras. You're parking in a tight space. You switch to the overhead bird's eye view, and instead of a clear aerial image, you see a patchwork display with one camera showing normal color, one showing a faded image, and one showing nothing but a grey square. But here's what they don't tell you. 360-degree camera systems stitch together the feeds from 4 separate cameras using a processor that creates a single composite overhead image. Every single one of those cameras gets blasted with road debris, washing chemicals, and direct sunlight daily. When any one of the 4 cameras fails, the entire stitched image breaks down and the system is effectively useless. Here's the kicker. On most vehicles, the cameras are embedded in the bumper skin, the mirror housing, or the grille assembly, meaning a simple camera failure frequently requires the replacement of an entire body component just to access the unit. Here's what they don't tell you. The image processor that combines the 4 feeds is often misdiagnosed as a camera failure, leading to expensive replacements that fix nothing. And because all 4 cameras need to be perfectly calibrated to produce an accurate overhead image, even a minor misalignment after any repair renders the entire system unreliable. Now, this next feature sounds like the ultimate convenience for night driving and turns into one of the most aggravating electrical failures on any modern car. Feature number 4, auto-dimming headlights. You're driving on a rural road at night. A car appears in the distance, and your high beams stay on full blast while your car's system does absolutely nothing. You reach for the stalk and discover your car no longer has a traditional high beam toggle because the system is fully automated. But here's what they don't tell you. That camera is the same one used by the lane keeping system and the automatic emergency braking system, meaning a single dirty windshield can simultaneously disable your headlights, your lane assist, and your emergency braking in one go. Windshield replacement on a vehicle with a forward camera requires full camera recalibration, adding anywhere from $200 to $400 to every glass claim. Here's what they don't tell you. These systems frequently fail to distinguish between oncoming headlights and reflective road signs, causing erratic switching between high and low beam in exactly the situations where stable lighting is most critical. What that means in practice is that your headlights are making unpredictable decisions at the exact moment you need them to be completely reliable. Now, this next feature was designed to protect your mirrors and has created a brand new category of failure that nobody anticipated. Feature number 3, auto-folding mirrors. You lock your car, the mirrors fold in automatically, and the next morning one mirror stops halfway, sitting at an angle that gives you a perfect view of your own rear door and nothing else. Auto-folding mirror motors are small, low-torque units constantly exposed to wind loading, vibration, and temperature extremes. In cold climates, the mirror can freeze in the folded position, and the motor burns out entirely attempting to force it open. In hot climates, the lubricant inside the fold mechanism dries out until the motor overloads and fails. Here's the kicker. A motor failure requires replacement of the entire mirror unit, including glass, housing, heating element, and all embedded sensors, a repair that runs anywhere from $400 to over $1,500. Here's what they don't tell you. The fold cycle counter inside the body control module can become corrupted, causing the mirrors to fold and unfold continuously while the car is parked and draining the battery overnight. And because this happens silently with no dashboard warning, most owners only discover it when they return to a car with a flat battery and no obvious explanation. Now, this next feature comes standard on nearly every new vehicle and is silently creating electrical failures that most mechanics aren't equipped to diagnose. Feature number 2, heated steering wheel. It's a cold morning. You press the heated steering wheel button, and for about 30 seconds the wheel warms up beautifully. Then it stops. The light is still on, but the wheel itself is stone cold. But here's what they don't tell you. The heating element is a resistive wire woven directly into the rim beneath the leather or synthetic wrap. The steering wheel rotates continuously, flexes at the connection points, and is handled thousands of times every single day. That constant mechanical stress fractures the wire significantly faster due to the rotation involved. Here's the kicker. Accessing the heating element requires complete disassembly of the wheel, including the airbag module, which by law must be handled by a certified technician. Here's what they don't tell you. A failed heating element can trigger airbag warning lights, leading mechanics to misdiagnose an airbag fault when the actual cause is a broken wire in the rim. And what makes this particularly frustrating is that you can end up paying for an airbag system diagnostic, a steering wheel teardown, and a heating element replacement all as separate line items on the same bill. And now, for the number 1 car feature that sounds like pure convenience and is quietly becoming one of the most unreliable systems on any modern vehicle. Feature number 1, touchscreen climate controls. You're driving on a hot afternoon and you reach over to adjust the temperature. On an older car, this takes 1 second and 1 finger on a physical dial. On your new car, it takes your eyes off the road, 2 taps to wake the screen, a swipe to find the climate menu, and another tap to adjust the temperature by a single degree, all while traveling at 60 miles an hour. But here's what they don't tell you. Automakers began replacing physical climate knobs and buttons with touchscreen controls, not because it made the driving experience safer or more intuitive, but because it reduced manufacturing costs and made the interior look cleaner in promotional photos. Here's the kicker. Studies conducted by transport safety researchers found that touchscreen climate controls take up to 4 times longer to operate than traditional physical dials. And every additional second your eyes leave the road at 60 miles an hour adds another 27 meters of blind travel. Here's what they don't tell you. Touchscreens are also the single most complained about feature in long-term ownership surveys, with glare, lag, unresponsive inputs in cold weather, and fingerprint buildup all cited as daily frustrations that never fully go away. And here's the part that should genuinely concern every driver. When the touchscreen fails, and it does fail, every single climate function, every fan setting, every temperature adjustment, and in many vehicles the heated seats and steering wheel too, become completely inaccessible until the screen is repaired or replaced, a job that on some vehicles costs over $1,000 and takes the car off the road for days. How many of these features are already in your car? Drop a comment below and let me know which one has already cost you money. If this video just saved you from making an expensive mistake on your next car purchase, hit that subscribe button for more money-saving automotive content that gets straight to the point. Your wallet will thank you. Now repair shops are hiding even more pro car tricks from you that could save you serious money. Click this next video. Trust me, you'll regret not knowing these pro car tips.